For the first time ever in the history of all the channels I've run, I'm on time for talking about a subject, and this time, it's Velma. After watching several videos slamming the show, I did what I always do and decided I don't have to watch it. My opinion's formulated, but after actually watching it, it's truly shown me that you can't truly judge something until you've actually experienced it. For the longest time, I hated Ratatouille, but after going back and watching it for the first time in years, it skyrocketed to becoming, in my opinion, one of the greatest animated films of all time. But what does this have to do with Velma? Well, I'm gonna give you a completely unsaturated opinion as someone who went in with the lowest possible expectations. I actually really like it. Now, before you light your torches and storm the comments and flood my comments with dislikes, just hear me out for a moment. Velma is actually pretty good, but there are some serious flaws. After watching multiple reviews and watching the show, I couldn't help but realize how greatly people over-exaggerated the awfulness. One was Velma's bitchiness. The way people were explaining it made me feel like she was gonna be a grade A bitch, but honestly, she wasn't really. She honestly reminds me of the losers on TikTok who feel the need to constantly spout their opinion. It's become such a thing where people who are intelligent have an incline to flaunt it and constantly correct people, but even then, Velma isn't nearly as bad as most of those people are. People also act like it's a serious problem she does it and faces no repercussions, which is simply false. She's called out on it several times that it's not okay to act that way toward people, and she faces repercussions because of it, from it implying that it's the actual reason she lost her friendship with Daphne to her dad calling her out for being a hypocrite. The narrative is attempting to paint Velma as a flawed character, and it doesn't shy away from it. She isn't perfect. She was never meant to be. She does have a holier-than-thou attitude, but it's not meant to be endearing. You weren't supposed to like it, just like none of the characters like it. The entire second episode is about how the way Velma treats people is bad. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the hate from the show comes from what I view as people didn't like Turning Red for. It reminds them too much of themselves and the current modern culture that we live in. It honestly, the entire show just feels like TikTok culture and spews it. No one taking anything really seriously. Someone gets murdered and they just spout some obvious nonsense. Oh, she has no brain, and things like that. Things have become so oversaturated and so natural, we just don't really feel the need to react to it. It's genuinely chilling to see them represent the current internet culture that we live in and that it actually applies to real life, because there are people like this. We've seen people like this. I actually find it quite interesting. I can see why a lot of people don't, because when you see things like this, you don't want to believe that's what our world actually is. But unfortunately, it is. This feels like real fucking people nowadays, and it really shouldn't. And it's honestly baffling how quick people are to judge this show. Maybe it's because I went in with bottom of the barrel expectations and not wanting to view these as the mystery gang I grew up with, but I kind of liked it. This isn't the mystery gang we grew up with. It verbatim paints it out in the first 2 minutes. Now, am I saying there aren't flaws with the show? Absolutely not. I liked it and think it's good, but at max it's a 7 out of 10. Its usage of meta jokes is way out of hand, and frankly, it's tiring to see it pop up so frequently. And honestly, I don't understand what the point of Norville is. He's honestly just my least favorite character in the show. He was absolutely no personality except that he has a crush on Velma. I mean, the man was literally getting ready to sell his kidney so he could give her $500. What the fuck? And of course, what they're doing with Fred is really fucking weird, but I actually kind of find it funny. People painted it as if his only character trait is having a small dick, but the show actually gives a clever reasoning as to why he's like this, like such a man-child. Now, is this a complete bastardization of the Scooby-Doo franchise? Well, yes, but this isn't Scooby-Doo. If anything, it just took the Scooby-Doo IP and made completely new characters, and that's what people are forgetting. Scooby-Doo does not exist in this universe. As far as we are aware, he never will. What I'm saying is, don't be stuck up and try actually watching the show with an open mind that this isn't Scooby-Doo. It's not meant to be fucking Citizen Kane. But come on, do we honestly believe that this is worse than Dragon Ball Evolutions? Again, I'm not telling you to love the show. I'm just saying maybe be more open to it. Don't view this as Scooby-Doo because it isn't. Anyways, I know people are gonna hate bomb the shit out of this. After all, I am the Contrarian here. But I hope you all have a lovely day, and regardless of whether you hate or love Velma, in the end, it comes down to subjectivity. I mean, come on, I liked fucking Hoops, so take it as you will. Hey guys, Jasper here. A little addendum to this video. After going and, getting ready to publish it, it was all ready. I went to watch Mystery Incorporated because I was fascinated to go back and watch the show that I grew up with. And Literally in the first 2 episodes, Velma is actually a giant bitch like she is in this show with a holier-than-thou attitude towards a lot of people. But eventually in the show, from Remembrance, she grows over time to become a better person. So much like this show, Velma is pretty much the same as she started in Mystery Inc. with a holier-than-thou attitude. Just give her time to grow, and I'm sure she will be a much more likable character like Velma was in Mystery Incorporated. Thank you.